Sometimes things go so badly you just have to laugh. And sometimes things go so well you gotta cheer. I'm Gayfesh, and today we'll be talking Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 2, Children of the Comet. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Spoilers! So it appears my initial suspicions are correct, and each episode is gonna have a main character to focus on. This week, it's Uhura. She's invited to the captain's quarters for dinner for the first time, a group meal with a lot of the senior staff. Ortegas, furthering my opinion that she's just the new Tom Paris, tricks her into wearing her dress uniform despite nearly everyone else, including Pike, wearing casual attire or their standard uniforms. Uhura has an interesting time navigating everyone's questions and interactions. She gets teased by Hemmer and Spock for being overly friendly and inquisitive about the two aliens, and then explains how she too has a tragic backstory where her immediate family all died in a shuttle accident, so she decided to run away to Starfleet, even though she's not sure that's where she wants to be. Is everyone getting a tragic backstory? Probably not Pike. He's getting a tragic future instead. By the way, minor nitpick here, but Uhura briefly speaks to Hemmer in Andorian. The Enar do share an evolutionary history with the Andorians, but they are their own species, much like how the Romulans and Vulcans split off and developed their own languages. Sure, unlike the Romulans, the Enar stayed on the same planet, but this also gets into another slight annoyance. Earth is still allowed its thousands of languages. Uhura learned 22 languages around her growing up in Kenya, but alien species are always reduced to a single global language. It's a symptom of the broader issue that alien species are treated as monocultures. They find a comet hurtling toward a planet that has a primitive humanoid species. Obviously, the Prime Directive prevents them from going to the planet, but they can handily redirect the comet's path, right? Well, when they try to land some ion thrusters on it, the torpedo delivery vehicles crash against the force field on the comet. It's like this ain't just a comet after all. They discover a structure on the comet, but no life signs, so an away team is formed. Since this is Uhura's focal episode, of course she's selected, along with Spock, La'an, and Sam Kirk, who we learn is a xenoanthropologist like Michael Burnham. They find a large surface structure leading to a chamber with breathable atmosphere and a big egg with writing on it. Kirk touches it and gets zapped backward because this ain't his episode. They try to beam out, but the comet's mechanisms reactivate the force field and cut off all lines of communication. It's now up to Uhura to decipher the writing on the egg and the surrounding chamber. She starts humming a Kenyan folk song as a nervous habit, and the chamber starts lighting up and reacting. Uhura and Spock realize that the comet's controls are operated musically, and they work through singing harmonics to figure out a way to communicate with it, eventually getting it to lower its force field so they can beam out and get Kirk medical attention. This is my favorite part of the episode. Celia Rose Gooding got her breakthrough in showbiz in the jukebox musical Jagged Little Pill, so I knew from the outset that she could sing. And I have to imagine that was an important consideration when casting Uhura. Nichelle Nichols frequently got to make use of her singing talents on that show, and I'm glad the show is honoring that legacy. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is confronted by a spaceship crewed by religious devotees to the comet, who they treat as a being named Mahonet. Comet cultists, oh boy, that's never ended poorly. They warn Pike to leave the comet alone and that it has a will of its own, and should it choose to hit the planet, that is its fate. The Enterprise is outmatched by the ship's weaponry, so Pike pulls a little Corbinite maneuver by flying through the comet's tail to get on the other side of it, and then faking injury, telling the ship that if they're destroyed, it'll blow up the comet. All the while, Spock has taken a shuttle and modified its shields to radiate heat, causing a piece of the comet to break off and altering its trajectory away from the planet. The piece that breaks off dissolves into water vapor and gives the planet some nice rainfall, which they realize will improve the odds for the survival of the humanoids on the surface. In addition, Uhura studies a musical signal from the comet that they received hours before, which predicted all of this, suggesting Mahonet has some level of precognition. This ties into Pike knowing his fate, and we discover that he knows the names of the cadets he's supposed to save in the accident that scars him. He pulls up all their files, and they're all currently children. A little creepy that the Enterprise computer is keeping detailed files on a bunch of 10-year-olds. So what did y'all think of the episode? Let me know in the comments.
Is Sam Kirk ever going to get more characterization than has a family and has a bad mustache?
Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my Patreon to get shouted out in future videos. Check out my Bandcamp for banging tunes, including all the tracks you heard in this video. Follow me on Twitter @GayestFesh, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Rest of Both Worlds, where I go through Star Trek The Next Generation with a friend who's never seen it. Thank you to all my patrons, with a special shout out to Piftle Cakes and Renee Vorbeck. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you all in the next video.